All right, so Sean O'Malley has now arrived at the biggest fight of his UFC career to date as we show you his last 5 fights. Prohibitively favored, certainly in some of these fights. The only blemish against Marlon Chito Vera that was 2 years ago. And in our fighter meeting, O'Malley suggested he's an entirely different problem than he was 2 years ago. So when Dean Thomas tells me that somebody is the real deal, I tend to listen. You believe Sean O'Malley is the real deal. Your thoughts on him coming in here Saturday night, my man?
I remember watching him in practice a long time ago, before he was Sean O'Malley, before he was
Right.
Sugar Sean, and thinking, who is this kid? Like, who is he? Like, where did he come from? He was so good everywhere. Like, I was watching him strike, and he was, like, switching stances, doing all these flying kicks. Then he was on the ground just elusive, and I was like, man, this guy is serious.
He's very, I had him on my grappling team. We had the jiu-jitsu thing going on, and it was amazing to watch him kind of roll. I had always kind of pegged him as a striker, and we haven't seen a whole lot of his jiu-jitsu game kind of be tested. But to watch him in there with a lot of really, really good people, get some submissions over some legends, I was really impressed by that.
He's the total package, right? Certainly an underrated grappler, to Anthony Smith's point. Now he arrives at what most people believe, Dino, is his toughest test to date. You know these American top team guys as well as anyone. Your thoughts on this matchup for Sean against a very talented and well-rounded Pedro Munhoz?
To say this is his toughest matchup to date is an understatement.
Yeah.
Pedro Munhoz is the real deal. He was one of the enforcers at American Top Team, meaning that when a guy would come in and get a little spicy,
Right.
Pedro would be on the corner like, yo, I got him next. And then he would take care of business. I also saw him go crazy rounds with Edson Barbosa, just back and forth brawls. Pedro Munhoz is built for combat. He's coming out here and he's going to try to do his thing. Now, he's not stylistically, it doesn't favor him well, but he does some things that can change that. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I think Dean hit on a point there. He is very great, and he's absolutely Sean O'Malley's toughest test. Stylistically, it's not in a great spot. It's just a really tough matchup stylistically, even if it wasn't Sean O'Malley or someone as good as Sean O'Malley. It's just that style, the physicality, the length, the underrated grappling abilities.
Right.
It's not an easy fight anywhere for Pedro, but it's absolutely his toughest test.
Dean, when O'Malley has been asked about the key to this fight, he keeps coming back to his speed and his timing. Figures to have a pretty extensive speed advantage, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at Pedro's last couple of fights, he's had trouble with guys with good footwork and speed, so it makes sense. And Sean O'Malley is probably longer and better than all those, in terms of footwork and speed and length. He's longer and probably better than all those guys that even beat Pedro. But I think Pedro has to go back to the gym, figure some things out, and go, all right, at least I don't have to worry about the wrestling this time. And now I can maybe slow him down on the feet because I don't have to worry about the wrestling. I can be even more aggressive.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.